السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بارك الله فيكم ما شاء الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. First, it's always a pleasure to be in the house of Allah, meeting the brothers, and of course in the presence of the sisters. We say with the brothers, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this gathering and to give us all rewards and to make us among those who are sincere, they have ikhlas, seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone and learning to practice. Within 35 or so minutes, it is not sufficient to talk about the subject that you guys heard, and there are so many different things that needs to be set first as a principle or foundations to any subject that we speak about. And really trust me, the physical actions or the physical steps or the strategies, for example, to establish our homes and to have a strong faith-based homes, to be protected from all of these trials and tribulations that we face nowadays. The physical aspect of it is the easiest part. Something that you can learn, of course, and it's all based on the revelation from Allah, the Wahy, the Quran and the Sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ. But the most important thing is what's in the hearts. And what's in the hearts should be, the hearts of the believers should be established, first of all, in the sincerity, al-ikhlas. For any action to be accepted, we need to be sincerely seeking the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and seeking these rewards in the hereafter. Not seeking anything in this worldly life in the absolute sense. This life is nothing but a passage to the hereafter. The deeds done by the heart. And this is where we need to have seminars, and we have to constantly remind ourselves with these things that need to be well established in our heart. Truthfulness, as-sidq, why we're here. Why did we come to the masjid? And when we come to the house of Allah, especially when it comes to learning, the reward is something that is unimaginable. But with the intention of learning to practice. And this is one of the major differences between later generations and the early generations. As we all know, for any matters of goodness, we have to go back and to see how things were at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, the early generations of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised them in the Quran, the Prophet ﷺ praised them in the authentic ahadith, and there's no goodness in this ummah unless it follows the footsteps of the early generations of Islam. Even in fitan. And if we're talking about fitan and tribulations and so on, the Prophet ﷺ, when he talked about the fitan, there is كَقِطَعِ اللَّيْلِ الْمُظْلِمِ. It's like parts of the dark nights. In this famous hadith, when the Prophet ﷺ said in it, يُمْسِ الرَّجُلُ مُؤْمِنًا وَيُصْبِحُ كَافِرًا ويصبح مؤمنا ويمسي كافرا يبيع دينه بعرض من الدنيا. The fitan is in such a way, these tribulations are in such a way that a man, the night comes when he's a believer, by the time the morning comes, he's a disbeliever. And he wakes up in the morning as a believer, by the time the night comes, he's a disbeliever. Why? يبيع دينه بعرض من الدنيا. He exchanged his deen, his religion, like buying and selling, in return of some apparent means of this dunya. The deen versus the dunya. Selling his religion, giving away his religion for some worldly gain of this life. That would lead him to al-'iyadu billah, this severe outcome. But in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was asked, what is the way out? Wal-makhraj. What is the way out from these fitan? He said, عَلَيْكُمْ بِأَمْرِكُمُ الْأَوَّلِ, which means stay upon your first matter. Al-Amr is the matter, and that refers to the deen in general. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, مَنْ أَحْدَثَ فِي أَمْرِنَا هَذَا مَا لَيْسَ مِنْهُ فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. Whoever introduces in this matters of others that is not from it, it's going to be rejected. So the deen is given that amr. من أحدث في أمرنا. So عليكم بأمركم الأول. Stay upon the first matter, which is the way it was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And this is how the early generations versus the later generations. The later generations, you might have lots of information. Lots of information. If you search the topic anywhere, you would find lots of work by the people of knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon them. Lots of ayat of the Quran to be explained, hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, points and books even written about the subject, information-wise. When it becomes ilm, when does it become knowledge? When it's applied in our life. And that's what the early generations of Islam, they didn't know the separation between al-ilm wal-amal, the knowledge and actions. So that's why whatever we take from these sessions, we should have that truthfulness in our hearts and seeking help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we apply what we hear. And very small amount of knowledge, when a person applies it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless it. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهِ. If you fear Allah, if you're dutiful to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would teach you, would make you learn. And that's why إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ الْخَشْيَةِ. Abdullah ibn Mubarak, rahimahullah, he said, indeed, knowledge is nothing but the fear of Allah. So أَعْلَمُكُمْ بِاللَّهِ أَخْشَاكُمْ بِاللَّهِ. The more that the person, the one that have more knowledge than you, is the one that fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. And that's the benefit of the knowledge when we listen to the ayat of the Quran and the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So if this is there, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything will be in place. We're talking about two aspects, the fitan and then the different types of environments that we are facing, right? So you guys heard, mashallah, this beautiful lecture. I got the last part of it by the Sheikh Ahsan, mashallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, with regards to the masjid. And of course the time that is given is not sufficient. If we talk about text, wahy, revelation from Allah that talks about the masjid and the life of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, so many. And that's what we go by, the text, revelations from Allah. And then we're talking about the homes. And he mentioned a statement from one of the early generations of Islam, Khalid ibn Abdullah al-Masri, I believe, when he said, كَانَ الْمُؤْمِنْ لَا يُرَى إِلَّا فِي ثَلَاثٍ. You guys remember that statement? That the believers are only seen, they used to be seen in three places only. What is the first one? Masjidun. What's the verb that was attached to the word masjid? Masjidun ya'muru. Masjid ya'muru. Innama ya'muru masajid Allah. Right? Masjid ya'muru, that means he is establishing the acts to be done in the masjid with all the different ibadat that you heard. أو baytun, or a house, yasturu. Yasturu means conceal him. A satr is to be concealed, is to be covered, and this is what our homes is. Right? You go to the house, to your home, from the miseries of this life. The homes for the believers is the refuge. This is the sanctuary. And the more the fitan is, the more the importance of the masjid and the home. And then the third one, aw haja, right? A need that you need to have. You go to work, you go seek provisions from Allah, you visit the sick, things for a reason. That's why the more fitan comes, the more that you have to watch your makhraj and your madkhal. When you go out, your exits and your entry of everything. And one of the scholars, he gave that terminology, which I find it very nice, and it's something that can stays with us. He said, حراسة التحرك. حراسة التحرك. حراسة is security, when you guard something. التحرك is movement. So you need to guard your movements. And this is how the Muslim is when he wants to be steadfast upon his religion. You can't just go anywhere, anytime you want. Right? This is the test and the trial that we see in our life. If you want to go to the beach, for example, can you go any beach at any time, at all situations? No, you have to. If you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though being in the beach is not haram, But with regards to environments that can be there, you have to be watchful what you do. So you guard your movements. But one thing that we need to make sure that it's the sanctuary, is the place of refuge, is our homes. But then when we talk about our homes now, especially with the fitan that is recent in the past few years, in many cases it's not refuge anymore, because the entire world is in our homes now. So if you talk about the beach, if you talk about the nightclubs, if you talk about the kufr being spread, no matter what place on the face of earth, it's very easy now, can be in our homes, in our masajid, wal-'iyadhu billah, in any place now. So the magnitude of the fitna, something that people in the past might not be able to comprehend. That's why the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the authentic hadith about the signs of the hour, and one of which is fitna la tada' bayta min al-Arab illa dakhalat, a fitna that it would not leave a house of the Arabs unless it enters it. When someone 1400 years ago is listening to this hadith, what type of fitna that would enter every home? Sheikh al-Fawzan hafidhahullah, he said when he explained this hadith, he said, Wallahu a'lam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, it's fitnatul i'lam. It's the fitna of media. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. And this is not my words, because this is one of the things to protect our homes and to establish our homes. We need to be attached to the ulama, to the people of knowledge, to the great scholars of the deen, in the past and in the present. We should make sure that whatever we do, we refer back to the people of knowledge, and this is how we protect ourselves from falling into the fitan wal-'iyadhu billah. So this is another aspect, and each one is a subject by itself. So when we talk about protecting and guarding our homes, it is not the same as it was 30 years ago. Nowadays, it's more effort needs to be done. And many people won't like you, even from your own household. Maybe one of the closest ones to you, they might not like you if you want to make sure that you guard your home in the right way, especially for the men, those who are in charge of their households, to make sure that we protect our homes from the fitan. What are the two types of fitan? Fitan al-shubuhat and fitan al-shahawat. The fitan of shubuhat, doubts that is spread everywhere. Matters of disbelief, shirk, deviant sects, deviant thoughts, deviant beliefs. And that means we need to learn our aqidah. And the homes needs to be established on ilm. So learning the deen of Allah, learning our aqidah. Salaf al-Salih, the early generations of Islam, if you see the books of aqidah Ahl-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, many mutun, many aqaid, and you would find every great imam, he would have his aqidah written. Like for example, if you look into the Kitab Usul al-I'tiqad al-Imam Lalaka'i, for example, you would find the book is based on sanad and based on the a'imma of the deen. Aqidat al-Imam, for example, Ahmad bin Hanbal, the book of Usul al-Sunnah is within the book. Aqidat al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, Aqidat al-Imam Sufyan ibn Uyayna, Aqidat al-Imam al-Awza'i. When I was young and I looked into the book, what is the meaning of Aqidat of al-Imam Ahmad, Aqidat al-Imam al-Awza'i? Aren't they all in the same Aqidah? Why each one they would quote from him that he believes in, and then he mentioned the sets of Aqidah that makes the people of Ahl-Sunnah unique. It's because this is something that they were very adamant in doing, in which when you are asked about your belief, you can mention it from the beginning to the end. Learning, it's all the same of course when it comes to the matters of Aqidah, but something that everybody would learn their matters of belief. So having our aqidah, the aqidah of Ahl-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, not just to be taught in the masjid, but to be taught at homes. And whoever learns it in the masjid, he takes it home and he teaches it to his family. The subject of al-ilm, which is one of the crucial means, of course, and to establish the strategy of protecting our homes and to guard our homes from the fitan, is to push it away with ilm. And this is how the shubuhat, the doubts, are pushed away with ilm, with knowledge. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed this ummah with the truth. So the truth is like the stick of Musa alayhi salam versus the sorcerers and the people of Fir'aun. The Sheikh al-Islam rahimahullah mentioned that many times. You have the sorcerers, they deceive people. They're not upon anything. They're upon falsehood. And al-batil is nothing. It's all in the whims of the people. It's all in their perception. Al-haq is the reality of things. But then the reality of the people, many of them are deceived by al-batil, by the falsehood. But then once the haqq comes, it's like when the stick was commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be thrown, it took all of these other falsehood and these sticks in no time. This is how the haqq versus the batil. But the problem is, where is the haqq and where is the people of the haqq? If the people of the truth are there, and they carry the truth, once the truth is being presented, the batil does not exist. At least it becomes very clear. Exactly like what happened at Musa alayhi salam and in every aspect. And this is what needs to be established in our masajid and of course in our homes, and to raise our children to know the haqq. When it comes to raising our children and taking care of our homes, and we talk about the salah, we're talking about the matters of ilm, pushing away sins, and this is the crucial parts of things. But to have the knowledge that we even how to make the salah and how to establish matters of belief, so that the salah is not done takhallusan, but rather to be done ta'abbudan. Not to make the salah because it's a burden that I need to do it, but rather to make the salah ta'abbudan, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So and it's all over the place, different points here, but because of the time. But the thing is that we have the ilm, which is a subject. It's a continuous and a persistent manner in our life that we need to make sure that our homes based on ilm. And the ilm without the ulama is not ilm. And this ilm is lineage. That means we need to get the ilm from the ulama, from kabir and kabir. From one generation, it's a lineage that goes all the way to the Prophet ﷺ. And this is what we get the ilm. The homes are established based on ilm, choosing a wife, choosing a husband, having children, naming the children, the rights of the children, what needs to be done in the homes. Since as we heard, it's a refuge. And as Sheikh Ibn Baz rahimahullah used to, when he talks about the homes, one time I heard him saying with regards to Al-Kahf, today's Jumu'ah. And Surah Al-Kahf is sunnah to recite Surah Al-Jumu'ah, and the hadith is authentic, inshallah ta'ala. Even though some had said that it's only to Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, but still, even if it's mawquf to Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, it's in the same ruling as marfu'. So reciting Surah Al-Kahf in the day of Jumu'ah is nur, is light from one Jumu'ah to the other, as we all know. So he used to say that the home of the Muslim is like the cave, it's like the kahf. The fitya, the young men, those who were to be said from rich families, from the elite or so, and they fled away with their religion, to flee away from the people, as it was said that they were afraid that they would be forced to be disbelievers. So they went without that they did not agree to one another that they're going to meet in such a way. They find themselves in the same spot, in the same place, isolating themselves from the evil actions of their people. So they end up going to the cave. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made their sleeping in the cave a miraculous thing that we recited in the Quran till today. So Sheikh rahimahullah used to say the home of the Muslim should be like this cave. When you go home, this is your refuge from all the different tribulations and the sins and the doubts and so on. This is the place where you have the second. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the ni'mah of Allah, the favor of Allah when it comes to the homes, that He made it second, that He made it a place of tranquility, a place of calmness of the heart, so that the person is able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not distracted, as when a person in the market, for example. You're distracted, you're not able to devote yourself in ibadah. So when you go home, you have the tranquility, you have your loved ones, you have the place where you can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have in the Prophet ﷺ the best example. So it goes into two fronts, pushing away the harm, the haram, the fitan, and now again is more of a things that can, when it comes to the virtual world, and bringing in the things that is according to the way the Prophet ﷺ, the salah, the optional salah, as we know that the harmonial way of a Muslim home, the men, they go to the masjid, and the women establish the salah at home, and the men come back, and before they go even they pray in the masjid. Very simple actions, but with what's mentioned in the beginning, with truthfulness, with sincerity. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and it's a sound hadith, about 2 rak'ah, that to pray before you leave the house. يقيانك مخرج السوء. Will protect you from the evil. مخرج is going out, exit. You're going out to the world. You're going from your refuge, from the place of sanctuary, the place that you devote yourself in, ideally, right? You're going to the world that is full of temptations and sins and so on. So you need to prepare yourself when you leave. First of all, you're guarding where you're going because you fear Allah, right? And then before you leave, you pray 2 rak'ah. As the Prophet ﷺ said, will protect you from what you're going out for. And when you enter, you came back from outside, you pray 2 rak'ah, كأنك مدخل السوء. They will protect you from the evil entry. Because the shayateen, they don't leave the people outside and inside. That's why when you enter the home, you say Bismillah, you say Salam, and then before you eat, you say Bismillah. Otherwise, the shaitan will enter and eat with you, as we know that hadith, and I'm not going into the details, assuming that everybody knows. These are not small things. These are things that the Prophet ﷺ informed us of, the unseen. We don't see the shayateen. The shayateen are present. There's shayateen al-ins, of course, human shayateen, and jinn shayateen. And the jinn shayateen, we don't have to see them because we are informed in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Iblis is working. And you know Iblis, right? Everybody knows Iblis. Iblis is the father of all other shayateen. And he's the only one that is living from among them, from the time of Adam, before that even. And I always mention this because many people, they don't get the reality of Iblis. Imagine a human being, forgive me if you heard this from me many times before, but imagine there's a human being that is living from the time of, imagine Adam alayhi salam or someone like this is still living till today, and he's going to live to the day of judgment. How many of the human beings will worship this man? Many people would worship him. He's the only one that is ever living on the face of earth. This is what Iblis is. Iblis, he is their chief. And he put his throne somewhere on the water, as the Prophet ﷺ said, وَيَبْعَثُ سَرَيَاهُ. He sent his deputies, his armies. He sends them all over the earth. And they come back at the end of the day with the reports. And one would say, I kept with him till he did this and this. He said he didn't do anything. I kept with him till he did this and this. Sins, that he didn't do anything. Till when one of them say, I kept with him till separated him from his wife. He would say, Ni'ma ant, you're the one, you're the best. And he would get him closer to him. Even though this is not in the level of a sin necessarily, a divorce for example, but these are the breeds of shaitan. With the family, when it's broken like this is where the shaitan can raise these individuals to be an everlasting deputies of shaitan, meaning continue to be in sins. Repentance destroys everything of the works of shaitan. But again, this is touching on the fact that Iblis is working, the shayateen is working, and we are aware of this. And we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the shaitan. And that's why the salah, when it's done at home, as the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لَا تَجْعَلُوا بُيُوتَكُمْ قُبُورًا صَلُّوا فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ. Make salah in your home, do not make it as graveyards. Like one of which is when you pray the sunnah, when you pray 2 rak'ah, when you enter. For the sisters to pray, of course, the best place for her to pray at home. For the children to see this, to be raised on matters of salah. All of these different actions is something that with the sincerity, with the truthfulness, with making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the characteristics of the believers, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. This dua by itself, which is pertaining to homes, has it all. رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا, O our Lord, هَبْ لَنَا. Al-hiba is when you're given something that you don't necessarily deserve. And this is how we are in our dua. You're detached from yourself. You're not looking at yourself. You're not looking at how powerful you are, how smart you are, how great you are, right? You're looking only at the power of Allah. You're turning to Allah and you are abd, miskeen, have no means whatsoever, and you seek in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا, give us, even though we don't deserve this, but it's from your mercy, O Allah, مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا, from our spouses and our offsprings, قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ, the comfort and the jewel of our eyes, with all what that means. Beautiful dua, matters of dunya, matters of deen, matters of the hereafter, everlasting relationship, not just in this life, and then in the hereafter, some in the hellfire, or and some in Jannah, or some or all of in the hellfire, or so. No, everybody to be in Jannah. وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. This is also related to this. Make us imams to the muttaqeen. What does this mean? It means that you are among the muttaqeen, and those who come after you, they follow you. So you become like the imam to them. So a father and a mother is like the imam to their children because they followed their parents. They followed them in Islam, they followed them in righteousness, they followed them in taqwa. So it goes from one generation to the other. One is an imam for the others and for more than just the family. So the dua, and knowing that we have no means whatsoever, it's all by the help of Allah, and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be firm, to be steadfast upon the deen of Allah. What is the most frequent dua of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam? Most frequent, as the hadith of Salama radiallahu anha, Allahumma muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Oh Allah, the changer of the heart, make my heart steadfast upon your religion. So to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have the knowledge, all of these types of things that we mentioned, to make sure that the salah is established, to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise our children, because it's something that is beyond our capacity. We seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to establish these matters, this is basically what we need to do. As far as even the adhkar to be said, the small things, which is not small things. When things are done, the things are to be done on a daily basis, when you understand what it means, this is how we build ourselves. This is how tarbiyah is, one thing after another. And to be warned, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, as the hadith of Allah ibn Amr, كَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ إِثْمًا أَنْ يُضَيِّعَ مَنْ يَقُوتُ. It is sufficient sin for a person that he ruin the ones that depends on him, when he does not take care of them, when he does not teach them their religion, when he does not spend on them, and so on. The ni'mah, the favor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us these homes, that He will ask us about it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us about it. One of the means of salvation. Today I mentioned that in the khutbah, but the word an-najah, we all just need to be saved, right? What is the ultimate objective that we have is to be saved, is to have salvation, to be saved from the hellfire and to enter Jannah. Anyone else wants anything else? If that's the case, everything falls in place. And an-najah, and I would repeat the hadith or an incident that Uthman radiallahu anhu, he was sitting concerned after the Prophet ﷺ died, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Umar radiallahu anhu passed by him, and he said salam. He said to Uthman, Assalamu alaikum. Are you guys with me, awake? Everybody's... No. So Uthman radiallahu anhu, because he was so much focused and indulged in whatever is concerned, he did not hear him, so he did not respond. So Umar radiallahu anhu, he had something. Why would he not respond to me? He went to Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr is the Khalifa. And he said, Ala yu'jibuk? Are you, as if he's saying something strange, or that Uthman, I said salam to him, he did not respond to me. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu went with Umar. This is a serious matter. This is how they used to make sure that everybody's hearts are together, not allowing any small things to happen. He went to Uthman, and he was still in the same place. And he said salam, both of them, they said salam to Uthman, so this is where got his attention, so he responded with the salam. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said to Uthman radiallahu anhu, what's the matter with you? Your brother Umar said salam to you and you did not respond. He said, no, he didn't. One narration says, no, wallahi ma salam. He did not give salam to me. He said, no, I gave salam to you. He said, ma sha'urtu. I did not feel it whatsoever. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, لَقَدْ صَدَقَ Uthman. Uthman is truthful. He's not making up this. They do not know anything. They don't know how to lie. Then Abu Bakr said to Uthman, ما شغلك أو ما يشغلك, what's bothering you, what's occupying you that you even did not hear the salam of Umar? He said, قبض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام died, and I did not ask him, ما نجاة هذا الأمر? What is the salvation from this matter? How can we be saved? I did not ask this specific question to the Prophet ﷺ. This is the concern. How can he be saved? So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I asked the Prophet ﷺ this question. So he stood up and he said, Bi abi anta wa ummi. Me and my mother and my father sacrificed for you. He got a treasure. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu asked the question. He said, Wa anta ahaqqu biha. You're the one that has the right to it. Who else other than Abu Bakr would miss something like this? So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he said, I asked the Prophet ﷺ, Ma najatu hadha al-amr, what is the salvation of this matter? He said, An taqbal al-kalima, to accept the kalima, La ilaha illallah, that when I presented to my uncle, he rejected it. La ilaha illallah, the tawheed. So an-najah, salvation, the tawheed of Allah. And the tawheed, that means what negates it to be away, which is the shirk, something, ilm that needs to be taught. The meaning of La ilaha illallah, what constitutes the tawheed. Something like Kitab al-Tawheed to be taught in our homes and our masajid and to repeat it. I know one of the mashayikh, he explained in his masjid Kitab al-Tawheed maybe over 30 times. When you finish, start over again. When you finish, start over. It's not one book you finished and that's it. But anyway, so what is an-najah to do with homes? Okay, this is La ilaha illallah. There's a hadith of Uqba ibn Abi Amir, radiallahu anhu, the sound hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ was also asked, Man najah? How to save ourselves? What is the means of salvation? The Prophet ﷺ, he said clearly, أمسك عليك لسانك وليسعك بيتك وابكي على خطيئتك. البيت or the home is mentioned. Second one. أمسك عليك لسانك. Hold your tongue. Keep it inside. Right? Don't speak just because you want to speak. And with all that means, عبودية lisan. There's عبودية in the tongue. Right? And this is many rulings that comes as a result of this. Especially with fitan, you don't speak, which is a huge subject. الصمت najah. To be silent, that saves you. And the ulama used to teach, or they would teach when to speak, and they would teach to be silent. So we need to learn how to be silent. الصمت علم. And that's why the ulama, when they speak based on knowledge, and they were silent, they silent based on knowledge. And you would find sometimes the message, they would say, why this alim did not talk about this matter? And they expect for the alim to speak about every single matter that happens in the world. If he's silent with ilm. Otherwise, what's the difference between a alim and a person that is not alim? And that is sufficient for him to be silent. And we need to be silent in many situations. Not silent, not to speak about the falsehood and so on, but to speak with ilm and to be silent when it needs to be silent. And when a person is staying away from something, he stays away from it. This is part of the ilm. That's why وَلْيَسَعْكَ بَيْتُكَ. Make your home spacious enough for you. What is the meaning of وَلْيَسَعْكَ بَيْتُكَ? As-sa'a is spaciousness. Does it mean physically? Make your home spacious? This is not what the hadith means. It means make your home in such a way that it's spacious for you. That you're not feeling tight at home that you want to run away from it. To be spacious, as the ulama they say with regards to the ibadah, to the acts of worship when it's established at home. You find the tranquility in your home to make salah, to make the night prayer, to read Quran, to teach the knowledge, to raise the children, and to enjoy what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permitted. So this is such a profound word, وَلْيَسَعْكَ بَيْتُكَ. Especially at times of fitan. Because at times of fitan, the Prophet ﷺ also, when he was asked about it, what to do, we heard the first one, عَلَيْكُمْ بِأَمْرِكُمُ الْأَوَّلِ. Stay on your, go back to the first matter. He also said, ﷺ, عَلَيْكُمْ بِأَحْلَاسِ بِيُوتِكُمْ. Stay in your homes. And al-ahlas is the plural of hils. Al-hils الذي يلي ظهر البعير. Al-hils is the saddle that they put on the horse. So when the Prophet ﷺ said, stay in your homes the same way that the saddle doesn't leave the horse. To make your home your original place. That's why it needs to be spacious enough. Because you're going to guard your movements. But if the homes are places of misery, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, sins, disobedience to Allah. Disobedience of Allah can be also عقوق الوالدين, disobedient to the parents. Sins involve the virtual sins, which is not virtual, it's real sins, with the machines and all of these types of things. There's no tranquility anymore. So we have to make sure that we take the means. And this is something that has to be done. to protect ourselves and our homes and our families from what's haram and to observe the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So وَلْيَسَعْكَ بَيْتُكَ وَابْكِ عَلَى خَطِيئَتِكَ, and weep because of your sins. And that's why the worst person is the one that is busy with others and not busy with himself. As Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said, the hadith and the rulings of the fitan are so many, and in general we are commanded to stay away. We need to establish this meaning of not everything is only actions. Staying away, turning away is an action by itself, right? And this deen is about doing things and refraining from things. So we have to put the effort to refrain from the haram, to be away from what is bad, and rest assured, have certainty that if you leave something for the sake of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would replace it by something better. من ترك شيئا لله عوضه الله خيرا منه. Whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would replace it by something better than this. And know the reality of this life. As the hadith of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, is a sound hadith. لم يبق من الدنيا إلا بلاء وفتنة. What's left from the dunya is nothing but a bala, test and a trial and a fitna. This is what's left from the dunya. So that means be patient and seek rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not to look in a pessimist way, but rather be hopeful, because everything is by Allah and what's from Allah is beautiful. And we are being tested, and that means we are being honored to be tested. And this whole world is about you, meaning the believers. If a person is a believer, then everything is by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the favors of the believers. And to be patient with the orders of Allah, to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to warn ourselves from ignorance, because one of the signs of the hour that ينزل فيها الجهل ويرفع فيها العلم. Jahl will come down and ilm, knowledge, will be lifted up. And we know that how ilm is lifted is بقبض العلماء, by the death of the ulama. إن الله لا يقبض العلم انتزاعا ينتزع من صدور العباد ولكن يقبض العلم بقبض العلماء. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't take the knowledge by taking it from the hearts of the people, but rather by the death of the ulama. حتى إذا لم يبقى عالم اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهالا فأفتوا بغير علم فضلوا وضلوا. Till when there is no alim, people would take ignorant heads and they would give them fatwa, and they would follow that, and they would lead them to the hellfire. So it's all together, the masjid and the homes. So the very specific steps here is to fear Allah, to be truthful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to leave the matter to Allah, to submit ourselves to the commands of Allah. And definitely the masjid where we learn, this is how the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, they used to learn with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They go home and they apply that with the best manners, with the best etiquette, and with ilm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring all of this to reality in our lives and our homes. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our sins. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وصحبه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.